Welcome to the deep dive, where we take the sources you provided, strip away the noise, and get right to the knowledge you need.
Hello.
Today, we're plunging into a story that is an unbelievable collision of culture, high finance, and organized crime in the Philippines.
It really is.
We're talking about the world of cockfighting, or sabong, which is this, huge cultural fixture.
Right, but it's also a billion-dollar gaming enterprise, and that's where this story goes sideways.
Exactly. It's led to a major legal scandal involving a powerful gaming tycoon and, unbelievably, multiple members of law enforcement.
It is a phenomenal convergence. For those of you who might be unfamiliar, Sabong is not just a casual event. It's an entrenched part of the country's social and economic fabric.
And when it goes high stakes, as it clearly did here, the consequences can be incredibly severe.
Which is what we're diving into. The immediate legal fallout from the case of the missing Sabungeros, the players who vanished without a trace.
That's our mission today. We need to quickly unpack the complex charges, and they are unprecedented in scope. The key evidence that finally cracked this case open, and the current high-profile manhunt for the central figure.
And we have to establish the gravity of this right away. This is far beyond just a typical organized crime investigation.
Much bigger.
The indictment alleges serious, long-term patterns of kidnapping and homicide involving incredibly powerful figures and, what's really disturbing, 15 members of the police force.
15.
So the significance of these arrest warrants from the Santa Cruz Laguna Regional Trial Court is that the authorities have clearly moved past investigating low-level operators. They are actively prosecuting the alleged command structure.
Okay, so let's start right there at the top. Let's unpack this by starting with the man at the center of this legal storm, Charlie Atong Ang.
Boss AA, as he's known.
Right, Boss AA. He's a well-known businessman, a gaming tycoon, controlling enormous interests in the sabong, the online cockfighting world.
And he is the central figure named in this massive indictment.
But the scope of the charges against him and his co-accused is truly staggering. It speaks to the level of alleged impunity this operation enjoyed for so long.
Oh, absolutely. The sheer scale of the legal action, it just demonstrates that authorities believe this was a systemic breakdown.
So tell us about that scope. Who are we talking about exactly, and where were these alleged crimes happening?
Well, the Department of Justice, the DOJ, they indicted a total of 22 individuals.
22.
That list includes Ang, of course, but the truly alarming detail is the inclusion of those 15 police officers.
It's just incredible.
And the alleged crimes span multiple locations: Santa Cruz and San Pablo and Laguna, and Lipa in Batangas. So this wasn't an isolated incident.
No, this was a sophisticated, geographically dispersed operation.
And when you involve 15 law enforcement personnel, you're looking at an organizational structure that was allegedly using state resources to facilitate these crimes.
So what are the precise charges? The warrants were issued by presiding Judge Mary Jane Tiro Canidabon. What categories of crime are they actually facing?
Okay, so the court issued 4 separate arrest warrants, which kind of signals the different phases and severity here.
Right.
The charges are grouped into 2 extremely serious categories. First, they are facing 15 total counts of kidnapping and serious illegal detention.
Which means taking and holding individuals against their will.
Exactly. But it's that 4th warrant that covers the most severe charges possible in this context.
And that is?
4 counts of kidnapping with homicide.
So this is the key difference.
It's everything. The state is alleging these were not just temporary detentions, they were abductions leading directly to murder.
And because of those devastating homicide charges, the prosecution recommended no bail.
That's right, no bail for temporary liberty, meaning if they are arrested, they are going straight to detention. No possibility of buying their way out pending trial.
Which raises a crucial question. How did the prosecution manage to connect Ang, this powerful executive, directly to alleged violence carried out by police officers and security staff, hundreds of kilometers away?
This is where it gets absolutely fascinating because it all relies on turning an insider. The warrants were spurred by a DOJ resolution back in December, and that entire resolution hinges on very specific and very damning testimony.
And we're talking about the Patadongan brothers, Julie and Elikim.
Exactly.
Our sources confirm these men were not just like arena employees. They served as close-in security for Ang himself.
They were right there. They are the star witnesses whose testimony allegedly cracked the entire operation wide open.
And their insider testimony allowed the DOJ to reach a key legal conclusion that directly implicates Ang.
It did. The resolution stated it was firmly established that Ang, or Boss AA, exercise what's known as command responsibility.
Command responsibility. Okay. In civilian or corporate cases, that is a massive legal threshold to meet.
It's huge.
Can you define that for us? What's the weight of that term here?
Okay, think of it this way. It's the legal equivalent of saying you weren't just the boss who passively benefited from illegal activity. You were the general who drew up this specific battle plan. The DOJ resolution says he actively directed the abduction operations. Applying that concept to a civilian gaming tycoon suggests the DOJ believes Ang created and directed the entire criminal architecture.
So it elevates his role from someone who simply knew about what was happening
To the central operational director, the one who gave the green light for kidnapping and, allegedly, for the murders that followed.
that distinction, active direction versus mere awareness. That's what transforms this from a conspiracy case into a direct homicide and kidnapping charge against the tycoon himself.
It is the absolute crux of the case against him.
And the star witness testimony didn't just lead to an indictment, it also immediately led to highly publicized physical search operations.
That's right. Authorities acted immediately on what the Patadongan brothers told them. They specifically identified a location that was allegedly used to dispose of the victims.
Tal Lake.
Tal Lake, yes.
So what's the status of the evidence recovery from the lake? Have they confirmed they actually found the victims?
A government-led search team has recovered several human bones from the lake bed,
Wow.
which is incredibly suggestive given the testimony. However, and this is a critical distinction, for the prosecution, authorities have yet to confirm a definitive DNA match.
So that's the final link.
It is. They need to prove the recovered bones match the DNA taken from the relatives of the victims. So while the evidence strongly correlates with the witness statements, that final forensic link is still pending.
Okay, let's pivot now to the immediate real-world action. What happened when the warrants landed on January 14th, 2026?
The Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, the CIDG, did not waste any time.
They moved fast.
With speed and precision. It indicates they were prepared for the scale of this operation. They immediately served warrants on 10 police officers.
And these officers were already in restrictive custody.
They were, yes, meaning they were already confined to quarters pending some other disciplinary or criminal action. It's also worth noting one of those officers had already been dismissed from service.
And they also swept up the civilian co-accused at the same time.
Yes. 7 civilians were arrested in various locations across Batangas and Laguna.
And these were the people allegedly carrying out the ground operations.
That's the allegation. CIDG Director Major General Robert Marico II confirmed that the civilians included some of Ang's personal security personnel and employees of the cockfighting arena.
So a direct link from the business payroll to the alleged abductions.
A very direct link. This swift action really demonstrated to the public that, while the top target was elusive, the network of subordinates was being dismantled.
But the main target, Charlie Atong Ang, remains at large. What's the status of the manhunt for him?
Ang is currently a fugitive. The CIDG launched a full-fledged, intensive manhunt, conducting operations across his known properties in Metro Manila and Region 4A, or Calabarzon.
And the CIDG director, Marico, has he said anything publicly?
He went public, yeah. He urged Ang to peacefully surrender and added that their intelligence indicates Ang is still in the country. He hasn't fled the jurisdiction.
Our sources confirm the CIDG searched his homes in Pasig City and Mandaluyong City, but they failed to locate him. Was there any resistance during those searches?
There was. The CIDG reported significant friction. While Ang's lawyers eventually cooperated and allowed access, the authorities noted there were initial delays in getting into the properties.
I can imagine.
And this prompted a strong public warning from the CIDG that they would not hesitate to arrest and charge people with obstruction of justice if they attempted to block them.
So for a powerful figure like Ang, this means his security teams, his legal associates, they're all now walking a very fine line.
A very fine line indeed.
Now, we have to provide a balanced view for you. Ang is in hiding, but he's been fighting back legally and publicly since the very beginning. What is his counterclaim, his defense?
Well, Ang's defense is aggressive, and it directly targets the credibility of the state's star witnesses, the Patadongan brothers.
He's going right after them.
Right at them. He previously denied any involvement at all, alleging that Julie Patadongan, the key witness, had threatened him directly.
Threatened him. What was the nature of that alleged threat?
Ang claims that Patadongan demanded he pay 300 million pesos.
Wow. That's a staggering sum.
A huge sum. Pay that, or else face being implicated in the disappearance of the Sabungeros.
So if that's true, it completely reframes the case from Eng's perspective.
It does. It's no longer a command structure for murder, but a massive extortion conspiracy led by the very individual who is now testifying for the government.
That puts the entire case into a direct conflict of narratives. It's just his word against theirs.
It creates enormous tension for the ongoing legal process. You have the state, backed by testimony and physical evidence, versus the accused alleging the key witness is a criminal extortionist.
And Eng's legal team isn't just waiting around for his arrest.
Not at all. They have already filed a motion to reconsider and reverse the DOJ resolution that led to these warrants.
And that motion is his immediate legal lifeline.
Absolutely. If it's successful, it could halt the entire prosecution against him and all the co-accused.
As this complex legal battle continues, we have to turn our attention to the people who matter most here. The victims' families. They've been waiting years for this.
Yes, and their reaction provides the essential human element. We have statements from Charlene Lasco. She's the sister of one of the victims, Richard Lasco.
He was an Isabong master agent, right, taken from San Pablo City back in August 2021.
That's him.
So how does she respond to the news of these high-level arrests?
She openly welcomed the warrants. She expressed profound gratitude to the government, the police, and she specifically thanked the star witness.
So for the families, this is confirmation.
It is. It's confirmation that the powerful figures they believed were responsible are finally being held accountable. It moves the case past stalled investigations into active criminal prosecution.
But her statement also emphasized ongoing vigilance, didn't it? Which speaks volumes about the lingering fear that wealth and power can influence the system.
Absolutely. Lasco stressed that they will be vigilant on the motion for reconsideration because they understand the legal fight is far from over.
Right.
And crucially, she added that the accused cannot be excluded from this because they were a team.
They were a team. That's a powerful phrase.
It's a powerful condemnation that reinforces the prosecution's theory of command responsibility, that this was a cohesive, organized operation.
Involving Eng, his employees, and law enforcement.
Yes.
And Lasco provided one last chilling detail that suggests the current indictment of 22 people is just the tip of the iceberg.
She did. She made a specific high-stakes claim that there are at least 29 more individuals involved in the reported kidnapping killings.
29 more.
If that number is even partially accurate, it means we've only seen the first wave of indictments. It suggests a deep, unresolved network of participants who are still out there.
It truly changes the scope of this. It goes from a high-profile scandal to potentially uncovering a massive criminal network embedded within a legitimate industry.
It really does.
So let's summarize the main points for you. A powerful gaming tycoon, Charlie Atong Eng, and 15 police officers face multiple counts of kidnapping and homicide.
Charges rooted deeply in the testimony from Eng's own close-in security staff.
Physical evidence, human bones, has been recovered, consistent with that testimony, while the principal target, Eng, remains at large.
Even though 10 co-accused police officers and 7 civilians are already in custody.
So the legal and political significance here is profound. This isn't just a crime story. It's a crucial test case for how far the hand of justice can reach.
Especially when organized crime allegations directly touch politically connected businessmen and powerful law enforcement figures. The DOJ's finding of command responsibility applied to a non-military civilian is a powerful precedent.
It suggests wealth and influence might no longer be enough to insulate someone from these severe charges.
And it shows the sheer power of an insider turning state's witness. That kind of information can pierce through tremendous layers of protection.
Which brings us to a final thought for you to mull over.
Despite the significant arrests and the severity of the charges, how crucial will Eng's pending motion for reconsideration be?
Right. Will his defense team successfully leverage that claim of extortion to undermine the star witness, potentially halting the whole proceeding?
Or will the weight of the evidence and that finding of command responsibility be enough to solidify the case against all 22 individuals?
And perhaps most chillingly, what does the alleged involvement of 29 more individuals suggest about the true depth and stability of this entire alleged organized criminal enterprise?
Something to think about.
Something to think about long after we finish this dive. Thank you for joining us. We will keep following this story as it develops.